Hey there, YouTube. I am Wheelchair21, and today we have the return of Doyle's DVDs. And today we got
Shout Factory's official release of Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger, which was the source material that would be adapted into Saban's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1. They've also released recently Zyuranger, which was MMPR Season 2. Now, before we get into the actual series review and overall product review, we're going to take a look at the box and its contents. This box art features prevalently the main Zyurangers, Geki, Mei, Dan, Boy, and Goshi, featuring also their legendary weapons, them in suit, and that's practically it. The front and back, like I said, heavily reliant on the main five, as well as briefly talks about what the synopsis is for our series, thus being the witch Bandora being sealed away for 170 million years, has been, awoken, and she's going to take over Earth. However, the five warriors from ancient times arise to defeat her. The interior, in a total of 10 discs. Yes, you have 10 discs containing 5 episodes per each, with the 10th disc holding our only special feature, the Power Rangers Progenitors Super Sentai Zyuranger Power Morphicon 2014 panel. But the interior of the case is clear because, the sleeve that's made for it is your episode guide sheet, so you have to take out a disc each time you want to double check what episodes you want to watch and what discs they're pertain to, as well as promotional art for your actors and some of the villains from the show, as well as Daijujin. Honestly, I think that this sleeve is pretty damn decent, but I would have actually enjoyed a small booklet with all the episodes and brief, summaries of each episode with original air dates. That's just me personally. However, you can't always get what you want, and I also think that the use of 10 discs is a little absurd, but this kind of follows Shout Factory's, repertoire of how they kind of do and make their DVD collections. Another thing I don't like, honestly, is the fact that it uses a clear plastic binder or case, and for me, I do not like clear plastic because it tends to break a whole lot faster than basic black. That's just how it always is in my household, so every time I see a clear case, I'm like, looks like I'm going to need to put it in a actual carry-all case. Nevertheless, let's go talk about the series at hand.
In the year 1992, Bandora is released after 170 million years. She awakens and wants to destroy Earth. Luckily enough, the ancient civilization that fought her back then sent the Zyurangers into a cryogenic sleep to then awaken when she'd be released and fight her once more. Now, the Zyurangers are compressed of the 5 main tribes that worshipped the dinosaurs back then, and their god Daijujin. Daijujin is a sentient robot god entity that, when separates, is the 5 sentient beasts and their guardian beasts to these tribes: Tyrannosaurus, Mammoth, Saber-toothed Tiger, Triceratops, and Pterodon. And he also tests his, Rangers, his Senshi, through various ways, such as how to obtain new weapons, how to actually form Daijujin, how to pretty much change your shoes, buy a new pair of shoes. Pretty much, he's just a dick. He's like your college professor that gives you, a pop quiz on a Monday morning. So, yeah, super dick. But he's great. He's a good leader, and he's actually quite benevolent through that dickery way that he is. Nevertheless, after their first couple of tests, they discover that there's 2 eggs that they have to fight and preserve, which will help bring forth the return of the dinosaurs, and it's an off and on again struggle until the final battle. Eventually they discover that there's a 6th Senshi, the Dragon Ranger, who is Burai. He is Geki's actual biological brother, however they were separated because he was adopted by the Yamato tribe and Burai was not. His father eventually tried to rebel against the Yamato tribe, and their tribe was just wiped out, Burai being the only survivor, and had a vendetta to, 1, follow after the Zyurangers to defeat Bandora, as well as to defeat the Zyurangers themselves, and so he could then take over the world. However, he sides with Bandora to defeat the Zyurangers, is expelled from Bandora's palace when he decides to then take what he believes is his own in the Earth, and at the same time discovers he only has 30 hours to live due to an issue that happened when he went into cryosleep. He actually died due to a rock slide during the Ice Age. Now, he's told this by the special guardian of time, Clotho, who created the green candle to signify how much time he has left, and if he stays in a special room that Clotho devised for him, he will not die, his time will not run out. However, If he leaves, time will resume, and it will eventually dwindle down for him. And to get in and out of this room, he uses the Zuzoken, which also helps him summon Dragon Caesar, the other guardian beast. Now, he tries to keep this secret from the Zyurangers once he joins them, because he doesn't want Geki to feel the pain knowing that they've finally united and became technically a family again. However, that secret is revealed shortly after they get Brachion, the final member of the Daijujin, I guess, collective. And they find this out when they have to summon Ultimate Daijujin to defeat Great Satan. Great Satan is the true orchestrator of evil. He's just a huge giant floating head with spikes coming all out of his head as his hair. Now, they don't really kill Great Satan in this confrontation, and know that this is just the calm before the storm. In the meantime, Bandora sets forth and wants to make sure Burai isn't there for the final battle. So she destroys the time room and forces the candle to burn out. But Burai passes on the dragon armor as well as the Zuzoken to Geki, so they will be at full strength to take out Great Satan when he returns. However, Great Satan kind of pulls, I guess, a ace in the hole, so he thought, by resurrecting Bandora's dead son, who died because he was a little bastard. He destroyed dinosaur nests and was just a little shit. But Bandora didn't care because that was her son, so she rebelled against Daijujin and became a member of evil working for Great Satan. But since, the Zyurangers are all good, they have to win. This is their show. I mean, I'm not going to let Dino Apocalypse happen. And in doing so, when Bandora witnesses her son die yet again, she loses her powers, because when a witch cries, which is a part of the old mythos, they lose their magic. And since she's now powerless, and technically, the Zyurangers are even stronger than her forces of evil, Griffiths, Olami, Preplicon, Tolpat, and Bookback, they're easily just sealed away in a jar and thrown into space where they'll be imprisoned for the rest of eternity. Zyurangers having their work done are allowed to ascend into heaven, but not before giving their eggs away to the kids that they protected throughout the show, to raise the eggs as their own, and hope that dinosaurs one day make a comeback to this earth. This makes it seem like dinosaurs are actually good people or good creatures, when we know that they're just animals, like, basic things, and will eventually rebel against us, because, Jurassic Park has taught us a thing: dinosaurs can be assholes. Nevertheless, the show is very interesting and very different if you're a veteran into Tokusatsu and seen a lot of the stuff in the 80s. Even though the 80s did have lighthearted moments and very kiddish, it could be very dark. And, Zyuranger was quite different and quite lighthearted due to the fact that it took on the prevalent featuring of the children throughout every episode, or every other episode, that a child was always featured, or several children were featured as technical guest stars, as you would say, or support. And that's kind of one of the things that I don't like about the show, is the overall use of the kids. It felt very PBS Kids-like when you watch one of their programs, because the Zyurangers seem to know almost every kid in Japan. Like, every kid. And they're always trying to help them, or help them with their family life, or just... The Zyurangers are very, very charitable people, which makes them good at the same time, but also, goddamn, other than, saving the world and making sure Bandora doesn't attack, you have all this time to hang out at the local YMCA or the Boys of America's Club or whatever, and help out, be a star kind of campaigns. And it was kind of funny, kind of weird. It's very riffable at times, because they focus a lot on that you would think that, one, there would be episodes about them trying to adapt to modern society, and two, them actually wearing normal clothes. Doesn't happen. Rarely happens. So, it's just them prancing around in these weird outfits and trying to, help kids when they're not fighting Bandora. So, it's kind of comical. Fun fact is, Yuta, Tyrannoranger, Geki, and Hideki Fujiwara, who was Don, Zyuranger, were also previously in Jetman. One of the reasons they were in Zyuranger was because, Don was supposedly brought back due to fans liking his character early on when he was a guest star in one of the episodes, and Yuta at the time had probably already been casted as Tyrannoranger, so it was just to help him get acquainted with the set and the stunt team, since A lot of stunts back then used to be very reliant on using your red senshi. Nowadays, they don't really rely on the actors doing as many stunts as possible. Another fun fact is Shiro Izumi, who played Burai, was also changed Pegasus in Changeman. As for our main team, though, I would say the two senshi to have not that many focus episodes tend to be Boy and Goshi. However, Goshi is portrayed very, well, samurai-like, of the Bushido Code, and is a very, overall, decent character. And he's actually a fan-received secondary senshi, so it makes up for it, having to be like a samurai-like character and only having quite a few episodes that very heavily focus on him or things that he's doing. Now for Machiko Soga, our villainess, she's been in several tokus, mostly as a villain, and she's rarely been a hero. She's mostly Sentai-related stuff, Denjiman, Sun Vulcan, Masked Man, Zyuranger, and Magi Ranger. And I think that her portrayal as Bandora is probably one of her best. It's probably the most seen of her roles that I've saw. I think that's like the one I've seen the most, other than Magi Ranger, and a little bit of her previous role in Sun Vulcan and Denjiman. And just the way she portrays Bandora is very great. It's a very wide range, and I think that's why Bandora is still well loved outside of the Power Ranger community, is because Soga's portrayal of her was just amazing, but it also made you feel that Bandora is quite bipolar. As for the show, I think that the stunts are some of the best, and it continued the trend of the actors doing the stunts for like the last decade or so, as well as Die Ranger and Kaku Ranger. After that, it kind of dies down, but it's overly immense and beautiful work. I think that's what Sentai is missing in the modern age, as well as I think that even if this wasn't Power Rangers, it's still a great show. Like, if even this wasn't the source material for the first season of Power Rangers, it's still a decent show. And for those that are just getting into Sentai now, you'll love this show. I think you'll love it either due to it being quite riffable because it doesn't age well, and for having those moments where it's truly lost in translation, where you don't get it just because it's a cultural difference between Americans and the Japanese. But if you've watched anime or you watched other, like, J-dramas or K-dramas, you'll get used to it. For the actual product, I do think, though, Shout Factory didn't need to put the discs. I should say put the episodes on so many discs. I think there should have been, like, 10 episodes per disc rather than 5 episodes per disc. Smaller packaging, but quicker, easier, less, having to move the discs. As well as for people looking for special features, I too thought there would be more, but I think it's a licensing issue as to why we didn't get maybe the original press conference from '92, which would be the debut of who would be which senshi, as well as the toy commercials. I also believe because of a licensing issue, the original MSRP was why it was higher, around in the $40 to $50 price range. But now that it's $30 to $35, just get it. It's great. You'll love it. The subtitles aren't that flashy, but they're decent nonetheless. Overall, for a product, I would say it's a 7 out of 10. For an overall series, 7 out of 10. For new time fans and modern day fans, you're probably going to give it a little bit lower than I gave it. But I think overall you'll still enjoy it. Nevertheless, I'm Wheelchair21, and this has been the return of Doyle's DVDs, which you can see here on my channel or over at HeroTaku.com. You can follow me on Twitter as well as Instagram. Next time, we'll be talking about Gosei Sentai Zyuranger.